To hold on to the conviction born of self-inquiry that I am, without a doubt, the screen or background reality that is Brahman self. And the world picture show, the Leela, is a fleeting, movie-like appearance, a reflection of the Brahman self. To abide still and blissful in that conviction is the peak, the crest jewel of all sadhanas. The self alone is the spontaneous, effulgent, easily recognizable awareness. That alone is eternal bliss. That alone is existence everlasting. That alone is all-embracing perfection and the primordial stuff of the universe. In this conviction, born through direct experience, one should ever abide as the sole I am, Param Atma, the Supreme Self. Remaining alertly aware and thought-free, with a still mind devoid of all differentiation of self, even while engaged in the activities of worldly life, is called sahaja samadhi, the natural state of self-abidance when all differentiation has ceased. This is also called the true I of infinite perfection, or akhandakara vritti, where there is no difference between Brahman and self. Those with the I am the body notion have not realized this fundamental truth. Abidance in sahaja samadhi is the hallmark of a jivan mukta, a liberated soul. With progressive development towards this state, an intensity of blissful peace is attained, leading on to the 4 stages of perfection in samadhi. Yet nothing short of this sahaja samadhi will be of any avail in destroying the daunting cycle of births and deaths. The realized one who abides in Brahman self and has lost all feelings of differentiation of self and non-self is called a gnani, or mukta purusha, truly wise and fully liberated. Such a gnani is rare to find even by searching among millions of people. If one is lucky enough and is able to attain darshan, direct contact with such a gnani, they obtain purification of all vasanas, and the person's ego erodes at an accelerated pace. Darshan of a true gnani constitutes the ultimate purification above all others. To find and gain the sacred presence of such a gnani is the luckiest opportunity that one could ever attain in this world. worshipful service rendered unto such a gnani Satguru, a realized being and true knower, quickens one's spiritual wisdom, leading to the bliss of Jivan Mukta. Therefore, if one is keen on being released from bondage and cherishes the freedom of liberation, the one infallible means of achieving that aim is the loving and worshipful service to the gnani Satguru. Firmly established in the self, undisturbed by the least ripple of thought, as still as an idol of stone or wood, and dissolved completely in Brahman's self, just like water mixed with milk, with awareness devoid of all impurities of thought and drowsiness, standing as clear as blue sky, the grandeur of the firm stance in the self defies all expression. That in which the whole universe is born and into which it is absorbed in dissolution is the formless being self, Shiva. Devoted worship on the self as pure consciousness will attract Lord Shiva's grace, which is indispensable for liberation. Those engaged in the pursuit of knowledge of the Brahman self, happening to get involved in the mundane pleasures of sex, should regard such fleeting pleasures as merely faint shadows as compared to the bliss and joy of the self. They should never even dream of worldly pleasures. As the self is sought, truth, existence itself, meditative contact with the self is to be united in the truth of reality. As Brahman self is the highest, this association with the self is known as Mahat Sangha, or association with the great awareness and cosmic intelligence. The sadhak, the spiritual aspirant, who practices meditation on the self, should always realize that all diversities of jiva, that is, soul, world, and creator, are appearances, reflections from the self, and really none other than the self. By practice, the spiritual aspirant's consciousness is freed from thoughts and abides always in the thought-free state of the self. Abidance in the thought-free, alert awareness is the state of liberation beyond thought and expression. The emergence of thought is the bondage of untold suffering. Abidance in the self is the true and direct experience of samadhi, meditative absorption. which alone leads one to eternal bliss of mukti, liberation.